Alrighty, now that we know how to make the simple print line statement, let's get into 4 different types of data types, or variables if you want to simplify it, but they're data types. Now what a data type is, obviously it's just a type of data. Now there's 4 main ones that you have to worry about. There's a bunch of others, but we don't want to get into that, don't want to confuse you. You need to worry about these 4 to begin with. First one is a string. Now, a string is basically an array of characters. What an array of characters means is each of these letters is stored in the index of an array that is a string. If that confuses you, don't worry, I will explain it later in the upcoming tutorials, but for right now, just know a string is an array of characters. It's a sentence. It can be a number, but the only thing is that number can't be manipulated as an integer without doing some funky things to it. So for right now, if you want to make a string like this hello world, declare it as a string, a sentence, something like that. An integer is basically a whole number, and it can't have a decimal point. It is a whole number between I believe negative 256,000 and positive 256,000, somewhere along those lines. There's other types of integers. There's long, there's short, and a couple other ones, but we won't get into them right now. And you have doubles. Double is pretty much an integer that has a floating point value. So 25 is an integer. 25.25 is a double. Let me just capitalize that so nobody gets confused. Anyway, Boolean, finally, Boolean data type is basically just true or false. It can't be anything else. There's no maybe, there's no possibly. It's just true or false. And Booleans are good for a certain type of selection statements, and then if you want to just like make sure one thing remains true through an entire function, you can keep checking the same Boolean. You can, if you get something that's if you get the check that you don't want, you can set the Boolean to false, and then when the program gets finished, it'll know a certain thing didn't work out. That's just one thing that Boolean data types are good for. Alright, now that we know we got the 4 main data types, let's get into some arithmetic operators real quick before I close this tutorial out. Now, the first 4 arithmetic operators, just the basic ones. You got your plus, minus, multiply, and divide. 4 main arithmetic operators. They pretty much do exactly what you would expect them to do. And to use them, you just include them in the lines. And let's say, let's declare another integer. Int my other int equals 30. Now you can do my int equals my int plus my other int, and then it's pretty much just going to add the value of my int plus the value of my other int and store it in my int. Now you also can do the same thing with doubles, or you can do it at the same time as you're declaring a new one. So I could have declared my other int equals 30 plus my int, and then just stored in this one. You can do it like this: double my other double equals my double plus, let's do 60.12, and that's pretty much just going to add my double to 60.12. Now multiplication is pretty much the same thing. My int equals my int times my other int, and that's just going to multiply my int, my other int, and assign it to my int. Division, pretty much the same thing, except with division you're going to need to use doubles for the most part if you're going to have a remainder, or else it will throw a screwed up error if you try to store a double in an integer or data type. So whenever you're going to be dividing, always declare it as a double just to be safe, unless you know for sure that there is no possible way it can have any type of remainder or any type of floating point value. So double my divided double equals my double divided by my int. And that's it. You're storing my double, which is 25.25, divided by my int, which is 25. I'm not really sure exactly what that would give. 25.25 probably? I don't know. But anyway, here's my favorite one. The modulus operator, or mod for short. This is the percent symbol. Now, I don't know why, for some reason, I just like this. A lot of people find it confusing, but this is really good for, like, say you wanted to go through an array and you wanted to find only the odd or only the even values. Well, you just mod the index number by 2, and then if it returns a remainder, then it's odd. If it doesn't return a remainder, it's even. Let me show you what the modulus symbol does right now. So we got my int equals 10. Just set that. Now, let's go ahead and system out print line. And we'll do my int percent symbol, modulus symbol, 2. Let's go ahead and run it. Let's see what comes out. Now print it at a 0. Now, why would my int mod 2 be 0? Let's do it mod 3. Prints out a 1. Kind of weird, huh? Alright. Do mod 4 just for sake of example here. Prints out a 2. Now, if you don't know what the modulus symbol is, you're probably going, alright, what the fuck is going on here? Alright. Simply, this statement with the modulus symbol is basically dividing my int by 4. Now my int is 10, so it's pretty much dividing 10 by 4. Now 4 goes into 10 2 times, but it can't go in 3 because that would be 12. So the leftover, the remainder, is 2. So that's why it's printing 2. It's printing the remainder of my int divided by 4. Now, as I said, this is particularly useful when you're trying to find even or odd numbers inside an array, like you're trying to float through an array of 20 values, and you want to only get or you want to only change the values with even or odd number. You could just do, whatever the index is, the array index, which that's a poor example. I don't want to type that out, but you do the array index mod 2, and obviously any odd number divided by 2 is going to return a remainder, so it's an odd number, and anything that returns a 0 is going to be an even number because 2 goes into even numbers evenly. That's pretty much it. I mean, real simple, easy to understand. If you don't get it, send me a message and I'll answer any questions you might have. But I hope everybody had no problems following along with this little tutorial, and in the next one I'm going to be going over some more complex stuff. Still undecided, but it'll be something fun, something to get you started out making programs with. So alright, I'll see you next time.